program. Remember, we say that this is a continuation of the Nigerian education of our dream. And in this Nigerian education of our dream, we will keep discussing and discussing more on our programs. Like today, for example, we'll be looking at ethical media literacy once again. Ethical media literacy. And in ethical media literacy, what are we trying to get at? Or what are we trying to look at? You know, these days, it is so common that people just see messages and then they start forwarding such messages. Sometimes the person forwarding even the messages does not care to look at the message that the person is trying to forward. And at the end, you just realize that it is garbage in, garbage out that is being forwarded. And there is something that people who send messages to any platform or to people do not understand, that you may have the freedom to send any message or to say anything or to forward anything to anybody, but the consequences therein, you have to bear it. Meaning that there is actually no free forwarding and free consequences of forwarding any message at all to any platform. Ethical media literacy. In this presentation, we'll be looking at issues and then we'll be looking at tissues. Someone may start looking at the picture of Bob Marley, for example. The moment Bob Marley's picture is presented on the screen, as you could see, oh, come to your mind, oh, this is the reggae musician or the reggae lord or the reggae icon. Now, what we need to know is that every man got a right to decide his own destiny. And in this judgment, there is no partiality. Robert Nesta Marley, you know, the popular Bob Marley song, that's the Bob Marley musician, the song himself being from Zimbabwe, from the album Survival, 1979. That was what he said. Every man got a right to decide his own destiny. It then means that even in media, you have the right to decide your own destiny by what you write, by what you post, by what you forward, by what you propagate. Now, the media makes or unmake. Via the media, you can make yourself and you can unmake yourself. It then means that from whatever you post, you are either making yourself or you are unmaking yourself. Sometimes we don't even understand that there are people who hold you in high esteem. And then, for example, on your Facebook page or on your Facebook wall, there are certain messages you may post there. Somebody will just look at it and say, oh, I thought this person is actually somebody that could mentor me or somebody I could look up onto just by a mere message on your Facebook. Will make you or can unmake you. It can make people to start following you and say, oh, it's like I like this person's postings. Can make some people to look at and say, no, 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 no. I better unfollow this fellow. What you post in your YouTube, in your Facebook, in your Twitter, in your Flickr, in your Tumblr, in, you know, in your live journal, in your LinkedIn, they can make you or unmake you. That is the media for you. And so, one thing we need to know is that in the media, just even a picture speak volumes. Like what I am projecting here now, when you see people laughing together, it simply means, oh, these are happy people. When you see, some people crying or some people in clutches or some people in trouble, you just tell yourself, oh, these people have issues. And so, what does it really mean? It means that whatever you see determines what the poster is trying to say. And that is why sometimes you see some pages where somebody just put on a naked picture and the person say it doesn't really mean anything. I don't mean anything. Whatever you post is actually saying something about you or about your environment. If, for example, you look at this scattered markets environment, for example, what does it tell you? You immediately know, just by seeing the picture, you immediately know. What would you say about this picture, for example, that is posted of, scattered food everywhere, people walking away, and the rest of them? What does it show you? What is it saying to you? And so, ethics, the word ethics from the encyclopedia, also called moral philosophy, is a discipline that is concerned with what is morally good and bad, and morally right and wrong. The term is also used to mean any system or theory of moral values or principles, like the Encyclopedia Britannica, defines it this way. So it then means that there is what we call consequential ethics. There is what we call consequential ethics. Your actions are judged by their consequences, which could be used in justifying the action. Your actions are judged by their consequences, which could be used in justifying the action. Why do you do what you do? You need to know that whatever is your reason for doing whatever you are doing, there is consequences. And so under consequential ethics, before you post anything, before you repost, before you broadcast, ask yourself, why am I doing what I want to do now? What do I hope to achieve from this? And then the next thing will be this that I want to post or to broadcast or send the podcast or keep sending to people, to groups, to platforms, to this, to that. How do they affect the society? Is it building the society? Is it causing problems? Is it bringing in peace? These are some of the things that you ask, because whatever you are posting has consequences. So in consequential ethics, ask yourself these questions. Then another thing is, are you really conscious of your actions? Do you know that just by that mere post, you are saying something? Do you know that just by that mere interview, you are saying something? Do you know that just by that mere answers or questions or response, you respond to people on social media, you are saying something? Are you really conscious of your actions? Or you just say something because you want to say it? Then another thing is what some people do not know in consequential ethics is that even in decision is an action. That you look at some wrong posts and the rest of them, and you don't put in your own idea or your feelings or your observations or what you know about the facts concerning what is posted. It's also an action, and that is what we need to know. Then we need to clear the confusion in this topic. Media literacy is often confused with media skills. Skills that you have, media skills of presenting this or presenting that in a way, in a manner that people will say, oh, this is well done, this has some professional touch, is different from the fact that you actually understand media literacy. So media literacy and media skills are not the same. We need to know that they are quite distinct. And so let's see, let's clear this confusion before we proceed. Then under media skills, for example, we have talents, we have experience and knowledge. For example, in areas related to your design, your creative production, your communication, in entertainment, in filmmaking, in marketing, in social media, in games, in technology, in journalism, in publishing, in arts, in music, for example, in advertising, in PR, and then media education. There are more simplified, media skills. All this falls under media skills. That is your talents, your experience, your knowledge in related areas, the way you design your things and then bring it out to the media, your creative production, how you're able to create one idea or the other and then make it quite acceptable. And those are media skills. Then media literacy skills includes ability to access and analyze media messages, create, reflect, and take action, leveraging the powers of information and communication to make changes in society beyond one's vicinity. Let me take it again. Your media literacy skills includes your ability to access, that you have access to media messages is one, but that you are able to analyze such media messages is where your literacy skills comes in. Meaning you don't just take things hook, line, sinker. Whatever is posted, oh, have you heard this? Oh, I learned that this is, and then you press forward. You become clearing and forwarding agents in the media world. It's your media literacy skills includes your ability to even reflect, to create, and then to take action. You need to leverage on the powers of information and communication. The entire essence is to make changes in society beyond your vicinity. It's also a set of competencies essential for work, for life, and for citizenship. Media literacy is not restricted to one medium. That's how Porter and W. James in 2010 defined it under the state of media literacy. That's in Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media. Now, there are 5 core journalism principles. 5 core journalism principles. This includes truth and accuracy, independence, fairness and impartiality, humanity, and accountability. 5 core journalism principles. What are they again? Truth and accuracy is 1, independence is 2nd, fairness and impartiality is the 3rd, humanity the 4th, and then accountability the 5th. In truth and accuracy, for example, journalists do their best to get the truth. Meaning that, like we are talking about ethics now of media literacy. Under this ethics, whatever you are trying to sell at a time, make sure you are trying to get the truth. You are trying to do what gets the truth. Please, if you are not yet partaking in sharing your ideas, just help us mute yourself. Please, just help us mute yourself. Then, under truth and accuracy, there is an indication, or you indicate the extent of the truth. Yes, that something is true, but how much true? What is the extent? Then truth-based is another thing. Then, under independence, journalists must be independent. You must be independent, meaning you should have your mind. You will not act on behalf of special interests, whether political, corporate, or cultural. You declare any situation that might constitute a conflict of interest. The third core journalism principle is fairness and impartiality. Most stories have at least two sides, meaning don't just face one side of a story. Try to balance your story.
I'm kind of
In every
possible.
case,
No, no, it's good. That
and
thing is work for
story
the
to be
woman.
balanced and then add objectivity. It's not always possible. Objectivity is not always possible under fairness.
Yeah.
Impartial reporting builds trust and confidence. Impartial reporting builds trust and confidence. Then humanity. Under humanity, journalists should do no harm. It means whatever content you are sending should not be intended to cause any harm, either to anybody's repute or anybody's dignity. Publication or post may be hurtful. Beware of the impact of words. Beware of the impact of words. Then under the core value of accountability, sign of professionalism and responsible journalism. There are signs of professionalism and responsible journalism. And if you don't follow those signs, then the core journalism principle is missing from your media, meaning that it then means that there is no ethical literacy in whatever you're projecting. And under accountability, you correct errors with sincere regrets. There is no need when you have sent any message or you have posted ideas or you have posted anything about anybody in error and then you'll be feeling big to correct it. Sincerely just regret your action. There is no big deal about it. Another thing you need to do under accountability is you listen to audience concerns. It's always good you listen to audience concerns. Then you provide remedies to unfairness. Now, there are 8 core media literacy competence. 8 core media literacy competence. Remember that what we just discussed as 5 core was 5 core journalism principles, right? Now we want to look at 8 core media literacy competence for you to be seen as somebody who is competent enough. Media as a construction. Media is just like a construction. Messages are mediated. And messages have position on issues. You will not just say, well, the message I was just forwarding or sending to people has actually nothing. It's saying nothing about the issue. No, it must be either pro or pre or an antagonistic something. You're either a protagonist or you are in the opposition. So there must be a position on any message that is being sent. That is why in that case, you have to understand that media is just like a construction company. It's a construction. Then there is what we call authorship. You just, for anybody to know your competence in media, who is writing what you are sending to people? It has to be there.
I hope my picture is not showing you. Oh my.
I'm trying to see. Is okay. All right. As I was saying, now you need to know who writes what that you are projecting. You need to know, because if you do not know it, and then you are projecting it, it's like, you know, you trying to share what you are not sure of. So who wrote it? What's the source? These are areas that you need to ask yourself before you continue, you know, sending whatever you are sending. Then you need to recognize links to, apart from who, why? Why is this message? What is the author trying to achieve? And why should I be a part of it? You need to recognize why is this message. Then identity could lead to source as well. And then there is crucial for assessing credibility, reliability. And then you need to look at possible biases because we are humans. Then format differs. Organizations, some individuals have their format, the way they are, you know, you call it their style. And then messages differ. Audiences as well differ. And timing, of course. So all this is normally put into consideration for anyone to access, or for anyone to be able to rate your media literacy competence. Then the next thing is audience. There is need for identification of intended audience, vital to evaluate effectiveness of whatever you are doing under core media literacy competence. And then challenging to target audience. And of course, you respect. There is need for respect. Then content. Meanings could be anywhere. Meanings of content could be anywhere. But there is what we call meaning that is crucial to determine accuracy. And then there is what we call specific view to a content. And then a content must carry appropriate message. Appropriate message. Then purpose. Creator's intention and motivation. You don't just write. You don't just forward what somebody has written without trying to understand what is the person's intention. What's the intention of this writer? What's the motivation? What's behind it? Then, what is the intended purpose to determine its authenticity and credibility? Because is it just anybody write anything and then you're forwarding, even when it's not authentic? Then, representation. Representation under the 8 core media literacy competence. Certain individuals, groups, messages can reinforce norms, stereotypes, represent certain groups and cultures in a particular way. Representation. The representation may be for certain individuals, it may be some groups, it may be to reinforce norms, it may be stereotypes, it may represent certain groups and cultures in a particular way. Then audience engagement. Involvement is very necessary. There is need for discussion. You share views, you debate, and then you interrogate. Issues and tissues. Where and what are the tissues? Where and what are the tissues? Now, everybody these days tend to become journalists. And so it tends to lead to disinformation or misinformation. Then there is this assumption that we can post anything. An assumption that we can post just anything. You can't just post anything. Then there is this no consideration for consequences. You do not even know that whatever you post has consequences. And then we have the ad hominem and then ad feminine. Then obfuscation, subterfuge, propaganda. Where and what are the tissues? It is actually ignorance. Some people are highly so ignorant of the media skills, the media competence, and the rest of them. Ignorance. But you know, ignorance is not an excuse when the law will catch up on you. And then knowledge and skills gap. Some things, some people just write about what they are not even knowledgeable about. And then there is gaps in the skills. And then another thing is fake news everywhere. Just fake news everywhere. And everybody will just keep pressing the button forward, clearing. Then chats change lives. You need to understand that chats change lives, meaning it can change to make or it can change to mar. Messages impact vast in digital age. Messages impact is so vast in digital age. Within a twinkle of an eye, you must have sent wrong messages of fake news to thousands of people, millions of people. And if it is something that people need to start reacting, they must have started reacting before they know that is a fake news. We need to understand that everything now is global. That you just decide to send a message to your friend does not mean it's ending on your friend's phone. Your friend has his friend who has his friend who has her friends, who has friends, and the rest of them. And that is how everything now is global. Target audiences. Sometimes they're harder to know. And then protection for weak and smaller voices are issues. Who protects the weak? Those people whose voices cannot easily be heard, helps them for their voices to be heard. Digital divides wider as poverty grows. When you want to divide people digitally, let their poverty grow. There is this Darrell Hoff. Darrell Hoff actually wrote one book on data and statistics. You know, these days people are easy to say, you see what we are talking, we have the statistics, we have the number, we have every evidence, we have the figures. This guy wrote on how to lie with statistics. So that certain statistics are projected about something, that certain pictures, that certain messages, that certain this and that are sent as evidences to certain things. Could just be lie. It could be lie. He in his write-up, he said, how to lie with statistics is actually a 69-year-old book that remains great introduction to statistics for the general reader. Maybe if we can try to get it. But you know one funny thing, the author was not even a statistician. Hoff was a journalist. Then it contained a brief, breezy, illustrated book outline misuse of statistics, errors in interpretation of statistics, and the rest of them. And then he talked about how these errors may create incorrect conclusions. I would just advise that we find time to read this book. In essence, somebody will start saying, why under the Nigerian education of our dream, we are talking so much about media literacy? It is because it's essential to navigate the vast array of media messages. It's part of education. Our youths, those in schools, those the elites, those that are able to read and write, who can pass one message or the other to the other, can pass one message from one person to the other, need to know there is vital building blocks that individuals need to survive the digital sphere. It is critical for individuals to evaluate media messages accurately. That is why we are talking about this. One of the reasons, again, is that enhanced ethical inputs in messages are necessary. So that it's not just any message you read, you comment as it is. You tend to reevaluate, you evaluate, you create, you look critically, you try to understand the why behind the why, the reason, the motivation behind any message before you forward or before you just allow it go.
Yeah.
Better understanding of messaging. This topic is very necessary because we want to start understanding messaging better. We want to contribute to improving the society so that some people don't just stay at some corners and then they keep sending every rubbish, every things that will raise people's blood pressure. Oh, do you know that at so place now in Nigeria, you cannot pass that place? So place and so place have been blocked. So person and so person have been doing it. So community and so person so community are in danger. And you know all those kind of things. So we want to improve the society. Bob Marley lays responsibility for your destiny. Remember the first page that we showcased before this discussion. Destination, outcome, and consequences on you. Message will help in forwarding. Every message will help in broadcasting and rebroadcasting. Every message will help in adding to. It's leading somewhere. There is a destination for it. There is an outcome that will come out, and there is a consequence. And remember,
I don't have that.
finally, ethical media is a call to ethical leadership. Ethical media literacy is a call to ethical leadership in what you teach, what you say, what you read, what you write. I repeat, ethical media literacy is a call to ethical leadership in what you teach. You have to know that when you are sending any message, you are teaching something. What you teach, what you say, what you read, and what you write. Remember too that you are a moral agent. Because whatever you are sending, whatever you are responding to, whatever you are adding to, whatever you are subtracting to, whatever you are trying to correct, whatever you are trying to remove from any message, whatever interpretation you are trying to give to any message, at any time, you are a moral agent. Consequential needs and consequences. You need to understand knowledge which others don't have. Purposeful intervention in this responsibility. You have the responsibility to improve society. I really wish to thank us for listening. And so,
well done.
Thank you so much. It's time for us to share our views, to ask questions.
By what time is it going?
And
by what time? You've been on go and back for more than 1 hour now. It's got Jerua.
She's texting Nigerian.
So, if there is any hands up, if there's anyone who wishes to speak, you can unmute yourself and then you speak. Dr. Netius Onyekwere, well done for still being around. Dr. Akweze, Emeka Alex, thank you for still being around. Ashibi, Ali Adejo, you're welcome.
Thank you very
Meg,
much.
you're welcome. Miriam Shehu, you're welcome. Dr. Hadiza Ann Iwuchukwu, you're welcome. There is this person, I'm not saying the name very well, Howie, and then there is Infinix, what, let's say Internet of Things. You're all welcome. So let's have time to review, ask questions, to throw in our own little contribution. Thank you. And good evening to you all once again.
Good evening.
Okay. In the absence of or is somebody trying to say anything? Let me know. I am not.
Yes, I think I raised my hand up, Doc.
Oh,
Hello?
okay, Dr. Ignatius. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doc, for those wonderful insights and observations in terms of people who are using social media. I think the issue that's compounding the whole of the thing now is the issue of this artificial intelligence, AI, or they call it the chat GPT or something like that. People, even people who are not even knowledgeable of what they want to write, they will just decide to go there and then put in something and generate information for them, and then copy and paste and put on the dashboard without even reading it and comprehending and understanding it. And it's making things so difficult. And what's really is just really so bad about the whole thing is that most people who propagate this is just also like elites, or what should I call them again? Educated people. You know, when you send something, Dr. Gillette, and he says something to me, I will read it with keen interest because of the personality and the person you are. You know, and even that information is not a true information, I will accept it, and I begin to, because of where the source is coming from. I don't know that you agree with me, you know. So people are not really.
You are saying something.
Yeah, they're not really like trying to look at the root cause, or sorry, the origin of this information. That's what they call open source intelligence. You know, in the early warning mechanisms. You know, this is how we also look at how verifiable information that are out there on social media that have an origin. You know, so you see some people who I've tried to do that in several occasions when they will tell you, oh, the federal government has declared Sunday a public holiday. They'll take federal government has declared Sunday a public holiday, you know, and they'll come up with all those kind of stuff. You know, in one or two occasions I've been to some of these agencies to verify these things, and you find out that they are not coming from there. You know, so how do we really curtail this? You know, just like us people, people being quite aware that they are people of pedigree and should not be allowed themselves, just like to be used as a conduit for spreading fake news. So if we begin to get this information ourselves and trying to, even if the information is interesting, let's make it more interesting by verifying on ourselves. You know, calling if you have, this is for the Federal Ministry of Health or from Ministry of any ministry, you can call, you can make that kind of make out that time to call them and ask them, please, we got this information, we got this letter, we got this any notice, how true is this? please can you certify the true copy of this and whether it is true? So, by doing that, if you begin to do that yourself and sending it across to all your platforms like this, all the which platforms that you belong to, people will be coming to your threads to look at credible information. So if I'm doing the same thing and the person who's the person that said, I don't know the madam that is there. All of us that are here, if we begin to help people, some of these people to identify or to know how to verify and ascertain, informations that are traceable, information that that are real. I think this issue will begin to calm down a little bit. But what is happening is that I've been interested. People will come all over and tell you, oh, if you open social media, they'll say, oh, take this drug. It is a supplement for heart. They've not even taken it before. They'll be speaking to you as if they have suffered that same sickness and they have used it and it has worked.
Sorry.
No, your contribution is okay. If I might throw in more light, I think really one of those factors that is bringing about this fake news in the social media is that I observe that people don't really take time to read all through the content of the message. Once they get to the first caption, yes, they go by it and begin to spread. But by the time, it has once happened to me, I saw a caption like that, and I read halfway, and I just drew my conclusion, and I posted. And after a while, I decided to go down the lane, and I discovered that I have posted a wrong message. And I have to go back to all those people I've posted it to begin to delete it. So I think is impatient in going through the content of what we're about to share to others. I think this is one of the major factors that we need to take care of.
Wow. Alex, thank you so much. Haji Miriam Shehu's hand is up. Okay, Dr. Emeka, you are still on, right?
Yeah, let me just clear one thing.
Yeah.
Let me just clear out one thing. In addition to what Dr. Akweze have said, as I've said, we don't. Most times, people when you are filling in forms, or when you are applying for jobs, some international jobs, and the likes, they will ask you to put your social media handle.
Yeah, exactly.
They ask you to put your social media handle. As a professional, why they ask you to do that is that they want to know exactly, the kind of
content you post.
threads or you post, you share. Because if, for example, you are coming to represent, be a USAID officer or FCDO or whatever, and they now see you that you are highly political, you are APC supporting this or whatever, they wouldn't want to employ you, because one is that when they employ you, they will see the organization as that pro, whatever you say will be APC, and they will think that organization you're representing is also APC. I don't know that you understand what I'm trying to say.
That's another eye opener,
and also they want to see they want to see your ideology, what you believe in.
What you really represent.
What you believe in. And even sometimes, even sometimes when we are talking about international politics, we understand that the West sometimes, and we know who the West are. That's why sometimes personally I'm very careful in terms of what I share and what I post. Even if I have the whole of ideas, I don't spread them in social media. I don't spread them in social media. I hide it because of the nature of job I do. Because you're hitting, but you are hitting are the people who you are working for. So you are hitting at the people you're working for, and you're hitting at them, and one day they begin to find a way of taking you out. Well, any slightest thing that you do, they say no. They don't know where it's coming from, because basically, because you have been saying things that is not within the principle or the guiding principle and ethics of the organization.
Wow.
So, which is important for us to know as professionals, and by the time you're also helping to fight against this disinformation and the fake news and the hate speeches and all the rest of them. One day you might look for a role on fake news, and somebody will see where you have you have really stamped many information as fake news, and they'll verify on the fake news. That could also be a credit to you in getting that job in that area. But I think it's a lot of dimensions to it. But this is really what I want to share on my own part. There's a lot to, but due to time factor, let me not go into much examples.
Wow.
So this is my take here.
Thank you, Dr. IG. That's a wonderful one. Yeah. Haja Miriam Shehu, you can go ahead, unmute yourself. Yes. Sorry for keeping you so long.
Good evening, Dr. Juliet. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma.
This has been a very interesting session, really, for me. There are two subjects I want to raise here. Is that I don't know if it is because of boredom or the problems going on in the country. People just enjoy sensational news. Once they see any news that is sensational, they don't even want to know whether it's true or not. There's a group I belong to, and that group is supposed to be for very highly educated people, highly enlightened. Some of them are leaders in various organizations and even leaders in this country. And the kind of things they post, I just don't understand. Somebody posted this week that posted a video where the president of United States was speaking. He said he came out to confess that he's gay and so on. And everything this man was saying, there was
without knowing that there are lots of videos that people's voices are superimposed.
You will easily believe that he was actually saying all those things. And people started making comments like, you see, the fool has come out. Oh, we know all this while that he's been this. Oh, that's why he's been supported. And I came to the chat room about 5 hours after that video was on, and about 20 comments had gone. So I just said, but can't you all see that this is an AI-generated video and that is not the man speaking? Some agreed, some did not agree. So that is just to tell you how gullible even the educated people in our society can be. So the second comment I want to make is, I love this group, Dr. Juliet. Whatever I'm doing, I rush to finish to join this group because there is a lot of information you pass. And I'm just a bit worried that people don't have this information out there. Importantly, our young adults, those guys, they're uncontrollable. They're just there, no guidance, posting anything, doing whatever they want to do. Except for people like us, we can always let our children know the implication of the things that they post. I am friends with them, with my children, and some of my children's friends. I'm friend with them on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Some of the things that these children post on Instagram, I get really worried. And that's because they do not know the implication of these things later on in life. Someone said sometime a while ago that the baby boomers are the luckiest because they did a lot of things in those days, and those things were off camera, and that's why they can still go all about behaving like saints. But unfortunately, the millennials and the Gen Zs, they're not like that. Everything is on video, everything is in the news. They travel abroad, they post it. They misbehave, they post it. They do this, they post it. So I think we need to find a way to really reach out to these our young people, for them to know that the things they share, the things they do and post can have far-reaching impact on them in future, because they say the internet doesn't forget. Many of these children don't know that internet doesn't forget. They don't know. They don't know. So I just want to advise that what you're doing here with your colleagues needs wider publication, wider publicity, wider outreach. So please, if you can do that, that will really help our children, our young adults out there. Thank you very much, and have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ma. We are really encouraged. Maybe one other way you two will be helping us is that when we are done, then we'll be sending the YouTube link so that we could just share to many people too, so that they could listen to it. And then we know that little by little, people need to, what we are doing needs a wider coverage. And thank you, Ma. We know that you always support whatever is positive. We'll be relying on you to help us share the links from our YouTube channels. Thank you, Ma. I think, okay, Haja Miriam's hand is still up, or maybe it was up before she spoke. Haja Miriam, show. Okay.
I have lowered the hand now.
Okay, okay. All right. So I think in the absence of more contribution, it's not that we, I know if we want to keep on keeping on, this is a discussion that will take really long time. But for record purpose, and then for us to be able to have a video that could really go around, we may have to round up today's episode until God's willing next week, same time again. God bless you all as we continue to contribute our quota to make.
And you too, Doc. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Miriam. Good night.